Happy Halloween! So, for October, I've undertaken a weird challenge. We were looking at the month and Halloween challenges, and none of them just fitted. So instead, we decided to do a new challenge, which I'm going to take throughout the whole of the year, right up to next October, seeing as we started in October. We're going to use the month and take each letter, and either the book that we read or the author's first or last name has to begin with the letter corresponding with the month. So for example, October, I've got 7 books here that spell out October, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So shall we start off with the first one? Got a huge pile here. The first, see if you can guess the theme later on as well. The first book we read this month is On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. I'm not even going to apologise, there is 2 Fletchers in this group. There's also one we've read before, but it fitted with what I was going with. So, this is, I want to say her 3rd novel. I might have to put a correction at the bottom. And it's not a Halloween-y novel per se, but the theme of it worked quite well. It's about this lady called Evie Snow. She's just passed away, and she finds herself looking 27 again as a ghost, and finds that to pass on to her own personal heaven, she has to unload the biggest secrets from her life, you know, so she can leave free, you know, at peace. So she goes back into the real world as a ghost. No one can see her. 3 times to unload 3 secrets. It's a love story. It's a bit of an odd love story, and there's a bit of a magical twist to it that I love. And yeah, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I hate to give too many spoilers. There is obviously a spoiler warning at the beginning. But I think it's a brilliant book and a very clever twist. So I think you should read it. My second book for October I actually read first. This was just before we decided to do the monthly challenge. And I thought, well, it kind of works, it kind of fits with the theme that I'm sure you're getting by now, and it is my See Thick Creepies. It's by Tom Fletcher, and it's, would you say a children's novel? Yeah, it's a children's novel about things that lurk under the bed, which I think is the best sort of children's novel, because it's something everyone one time in their life is scared of, is what's under the bed. Unless you're lucky like us and don't have an under the bed. Which is why we have that kind of bed. But no, it's about a little girl called Lucy who wakes up one morning and finds that all the grown-ups in her town have disappeared. And yeah, it's basically about her adventure, and she meets the Creepers. And you'll just have to read more to find out for yourself. Book number 3, our tea choice, is Torchwood's The Twilight Streets by Gary Russell, and it's set in between series 1 and 2 of the main TV series. All the books try and slot in with the actual timeline of the series. It's really good. I think it adds a bit of colour to the series, these books do, and I picked it because the cover alone is a little bit menacing. You want to know why Yanto's got a half-painted face and stuff. It's got a character who was a bit of a bad guy in series 1. If you haven't seen it, then spoilers. And it's just interesting because it kind of, you get to see what would happen when people make bad choices as well as making good ones. You get to see 2 versions of events. So I think it fits in my theme really well, and I encourage you all to read them. Okay, book number 4. This is the second O in October, and it is the 4th book in a series that I recently finished called Wicked, which is all about the witch's point of view, and also as a whole outside of the happy-go-lucky sing-song sort of world that most people are used to from the movie. This is set obviously at the end of the series and mainly features some of the original cast, but her granddaughter, spoilers, and how she resolves the conflicts going along from the first book onwards. And it's just really, really interesting. It's not spooky or anything, but it's set in a dark time, and obviously it's all about the Wicked Witch of the West and her family and stuff. So to me, I think that fits in quite well with the title. Plus, Rain just looks awesome on the cover. Okay, book 5. Book 5 is our B choice, which is Blood Brothers by Willie Russell. This one's a bit different to the other books because it's not a novel, it's a play. But I did this in high school. We were out and about and we saw it in a charity shop. My original copy had been that well used and loved, it kind of fell apart. And I just really, really love this play. So obviously we bought it and I sat down, I think I read it in about half an hour. And yeah, I just remembered how much I loved it, even though it's sad. It's sort of like The Parent Trap, but with a less happy ending. So, about two brothers, the mother can't afford to keep them both, and her employer, who can't have children, decides that she will keep one. And it's just about the story and how it unfolds, and how unfortunately for the brothers, and even though they sort of grow up together, they don't get a happy ending. So yeah, read it, see it, both. I don't see any reason why you can't read a play as well as watch it. Sometimes it's just as enjoyable because you can sort of act it out in your head. So yeah, my 6th book is another in a series. Next year the final series of Unfortunate Events comes out, so I've been rereading them. And this is book 6, a series of unfortunate events, the Ersatz Elevator, or Ersatz. It's very, I think it's where the Baudelaires, they've stopped being victims by this point, but it's where they start to end up having to fend for themselves, I think. And even if you've just watched the television show, you'll know where I'm coming from. Their friends, Isadora and that return, and your heart just keeps breaking for them. And it's not spooky, it's not Halloweeny, but with Count Olaf and all his like creepy theatre troupe, I think every book and every episode is a Halloweeny episode, you know? So I will also point out that oddly, it was the hardest for me to come up with a book. Don't know why, I think it was just that I kind of got put on the spot, and it was only a few days ago I was suddenly like, this has an E. But yeah, I totally recommend the entire series and the prequel series. So our last book is a children's picture book, and it is R. I did have something else picked for R, but then I came across this and I saw it in a list of top Halloween books and films and TV programmes for families. And I just thought, that's kind of a cute Halloweeny way to end my October theme. If you hadn't guessed by now, my theme was spooky / Halloween, because Halloween's one of my favourite times of the year. So I picked Room on the Broom because it fits with my costume, and it's just a sweet little story about a witch. And I like the fact that she's a good witch, because I think a lot of the time kids are led to believe that witches aren't very nice. You know, they're mean or they're nasty. And she's just a lovely witch that adopts friends along the way. And yeah, I think it's a sweet little story to end my October month. So those were my 7 books for this month. Next month I am taking on November. Again, I'm not looking forward to that. There's V and there's 2 E's, and my logic is if I struggled with E this month, I'm going to struggle with it next month. But it's a fun challenge, and I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm giving myself the whole month to find these books. So I encourage you to do the same. Have a go. Don't worry if you can't do it all in the time, just have a bit of fun with it. And happy Halloween!